All right, the last part of this chapter is about how we train or screen our T and B cells. So we talked about the different places that our T and B cells mature. When they mature, this is when they get screened. Basically, to mature means that we have to make sure that T and B cells are self-tolerant. This means we don't want the T and B cells to attack our cells or cells that are in our normal microbiome. You notice T and B cells, our immune system doesn't try to eliminate our microbiome. It has found that it's something it doesn't want to attack. So when we're self-tolerant, we won't attack our self cells, or our normal microbiome. The screening process will make us self-tolerant. If you look at figure 12.8, you can see the screening process. It's different for T cells versus B cells. For T cells, it's going to be a two-step process. The first thing that you have to be able to do is you have to be able to recognize your self cells. I mentioned before that there are these things called major histocompatibility complexes. If a T cell cannot recognize your major histocompatibility complexes, remember these are your ID tags for your self cells. If it can't recognize these, then it's going to start to kill your own cells. This is often what happens in an autoimmune disease. Your T cells don't get the right training, your B cells don't get the right training, they start attacking you. Autoimmune means attack yourself. So the first thing you have to ask yourself, or they have to ask yourselves, is if they can't recognize the major histocompatibility complexes, no, then we need to get rid of you. If they can't recognize it, they will undergo apoptosis, and then those T cells will come out of the system. However, if they can recognize them, then they have a second screening. And in this one, they're looking to see if they will attack their own self, their own T cells. So if they answer yes, we're going to say, can you recognize other T cells? So that's what it means, potentially self-reactive. If it is self-reactive, which we don't want, you will also be asked to undergo apoptosis. So if you will attack other T cells, we've got to get rid of you. But if your answer to this is no, then you can go out and you can do your job and be part of the immune system. So these major histocompatibility complexes are very important. So when we talk about things being matured, this is that screening process. And for T cells, this will occur, remember, in the thymus. For B cells, it's only a one-step process. So B cells are only asked, can they recognize those major histocompatibility complexes? So B cells, they're going to get trained in the bone marrow. And their one and only question is their BCR compatible with MHCs? If they are, then they will be asked to undergo apoptosis. Because otherwise, that B cell would label your cell, it'll tag it with an antigen, and it will tell your body to get rid of it. And we don't want to get rid of our cells. However, if it cannot react with it, then that's good. That means it recognizes our self cells, it has self-tolerance, and we will send it on its way to do its job as part of the immune system.